Hello guys, this is Moise Jairaj. Today video is about thoughts on Mike Mentzer training heavy duty principles. And I did actually heavy duty. The father of heavy duty is Arthur Jones. Mike Mentzer is an advocate to heavy duty, and he used to say his mentor is Arthur Jones. So what I did was I read his book Heavy Duty System 2 years back, and I listened to Arthur Jones 2 seminars which was in YouTube, and I used to listen to all the seminars, one set method seminar of Mike Mentzer, and I read not less in Arthur Jones library, which was in articles which was in internet. You can read that if you search Nautilus bulletin, you will get that library open. So I read all those till I was using some of the principles of I was using some of the principles of Arthur Jones, like creating the body proportions. They were right according to the God. So I used the things which was right and wrong. You have to, if someone says something, you have to use a scientific method, like observe, experiment, and form a theory, and test and demonstrate. So I used my Mike Mentzer method for 2 years in order to build strength and muscle, but that was not the right way to train, and I corrected those things in pillars, bricks, and blocks. Many people have Mike Mentzer fans. They were sincerely believing that it was right, and we will progress for a long time. See, Arthur Jones experiments like uh, Colorado experiment or total conditioning. All these things were short-term experiments, not long-term experiments. When he trained the Casey weight, or he they progressed rapidly. But when you see Arthur Jones total conditioning, 2 people got sick. The sickness is the result of anaerobic training. That was the, and also when you see the body compensation after the end of the anaerobic training, the fat percentage is high. That is the result of a lactic acid buildup. Then I mentioned that in the book called Pillars, Bricks, and Block. I will give the link down below for the Google Docs I was writing right now. That book I was in chapter 13 or 14. I was in chapter 13 or 14. That is dangerous. High intensity is literally dangerous. I feared to the high intensity, but when I realized why high intensity is dangerous, why do you doesn't have to do high intensity, but rather you have to be in a different intensities. If you do high intensity, see, last few in previous video I explained my weekly plan. Not a previous video, 2 videos back I explained my weekly plan. So in that video I said I progressed lifting 25 more kilos within 15 days, 14 to 30, 15 days. So why I got that progress? Those principles were the result of Mike Mentzer training, the rapid progress. At the same time, Mike Mentzer used to say you have to progress from workout to workout. You never have to do that, because you need to adapt for the training program. So what I did was I used to do pillars, bricks, and blocks. I used to maintain certain number of workouts before progressing, before adding a progressive overload. I used to do for 16 to 17 workouts. What I did was I doesn't have time to do all those bricks when it comes to weight training with much intensity aerobic. So what I did was I did for 3 to 4 workouts, and Within total 11 workouts, I progressed to 25 kilos without increasing volume or thing. And also, Mike Mentzer used to said you have to increase volume. Like if you want to, if you are completing 10 reps in a set, if you are capable of doing 10 reps in a set, and go further and go until 20, which was the number 20 is set by Arthur Jones. After achieving 20, progress. That's what he said. What I used to do in the last 2 years when I was training with the heavy duty system, high intensity method, I used to progress to 25 more percent, giving progress to overload. I doesn't have time. I want to fastly progress. I want to set my set. I want to achieve my dream faster. I doesn't. I was struggling with financial conditions at the time, still now too. But what I wanted to do is I want to make a rapid progress. I was not a fast gainer. I was slow gainer. I don't progress at all from these 12 years. So I want to move my progress chart faster. So what I used to do, that things work. So I was using Mike Mentzer and Arthur Jones method. Suddenly I got sick when I was running, when I was lifting. I don't know why I was getting sick 4 times. I was paying medical bills. I was joining an hospital. Man, I don't know why I was getting sick. And then I was getting diarrhea and I was getting viral fever. And after the end of the month, I mean after the progression, if I was working for 2 months or 1 month, I was progressing for 5 to 10 workouts. After that, I was getting sick. I don't know why I was getting sick. Sometimes I was doing once in a week training. Sometimes I was doing giving 2 days recovery training. Those things were good for a short period of time, but I need long term progress. So recently I understood high intensity system in the body. It uses it is an anaerobic system. It converts glycogen into lactic acid, so it will build up water waste and lactic acid waste in the muscle. Those things has to be flushed out from the body, or else they will be much harmful and they damages the body. That's what I think. And what I used to do is I do 30 to 40 minutes of aerobic training, which means I was a runner. So to my skill, I was doing jogging, so it will flush out all the toxic substance. And I maintain for 2 to 3 workouts. This is what I did when it comes to like 15 days of training, weight training. After doing that, I progressed for a certain time. I eating in a caloric surplus. Then after certain period of time, I felt like, so this point I have to stop. I'm not progressing effectively, and my mind is not supporting to do the same activity. So this time, I every time I used to take a layoff, and I won't do anything else. I take complete rest. But this time I shifted the work like from weight training to I shifted running. So I doesn't even take a layoff. I was taking once in a week holiday. I'm trying 6 days in a week. So you have to stay in a different intensity. Like you have to do some days. Most of the days you have to do easy intensity, which will give you the longevity to your body. And you have to, and at the same time you sometimes have to give that anaerobic high intensity to progress. Sometimes you have to stay in anaerobic high intensity, sometimes you have to stay in low intensity. But I'm giving you tip: every time you do high intensity, the next workout has to be a low intensity aerobic and more than 30 minutes duration. What it will do is it will flush out the toxic substance that it built it from the conversion of glycogen and phosphate systems. So take this as a step. This will be much useful. So anaerobic, I am the lover of 400 meters runner. I definitely will be in that state, anaerobic state, while I was in running 5 kilometers, because my goal is to run 8 minutes 5 kilometers. That was much faster, breaking 4 minutes 30 change seconds of world record. So don't think that's because I was different field, the principles are different. No, almost the principles are same to all the sport, whether you are weight training, whether you are doing uh, endurance activity. Because Mike Mentzer used to say it was the sport is divided into two, aerobic and anaerobic. That was true. It is divided into two, aerobic and anaerobic. And I was not only following Mike Mentzer, I was learning from different people like Clyde Hart of Baylor University. He was coach to Jeremy Warden and Michael Johnson. So I was reading continuously. I was reading the sport, the training systems of different athletes, not to become better and better. Almost I studied Edwin Moses, Lee Evans, who is the world record holder in 1964 Olympics, I think so, in Tokyo or Mexico. He is the first sub 44 runner. I listened to his interview. I read his training program. I used to watch the documentaries or training systems of Usain Bolt, Johan Blake, Asafa Powell. Most of the people I used to watch, like Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson's training is also high intensity system. And you see, guys, Ben Johnson doesn't develop a body proportion. He has lot of strength. He can bench press 200 kilos, and he can squat 250 kilos. I think so. I think for reps he can do, but those things doesn't provide right body leverages. They won't provide much body proportions. If they provided much body proportions, if they're trained for much body proportions, the strength will be like, the strength will help a lot. Like the training I was doing, the first muscles, the primary muscles, uh, hip flexors and extensors, iliopsoas and lower back muscles with cable knee drive and single leg cable reverse hyperextension, and the secondary muscles you have to train with less intensity with more rep range. That's my goal. I want to build a lot of reps in both lower body and upper body, primary muscles and the secondary muscles, but intensity has to be different. That's because of the nature we have to train. That's because the amount of weight distribution, we need more weight in the primary muscles and less weight in the secondary muscles. So back to high intensity. High intensity is dangerous. The one that created the world, the God and Savior Jesus Christ. I believe the God and Savior Jesus Christ, He created the world. He suggested to Moses in the book of Exodus that you have to train. I worked for 6 days and I took 7th day rest. So you have to train for 6 days and take 7th day rest. He gave the law. When He changed the environment after the flood, where the people used to live from 900 and some change years to 120 years. So God, every time He makes the things tougher to the mankind, always with His people He provide wisdom to the world. Like He revealed His ways to Moses. So the Bible is true. When it comes to anything in this world, if you want to learn how God created, and what how the master builder of this world created this world. When you look for it, I suggest you to go to Bible and search for it. He that searches will definitely finds. Like God said, like Christ himself said, if you search you will find. Search. My dream is to become the greatest athlete of all time, and I don't want to cheat. I want to learn. I always believe that wisdom is far more greater than cheating, and that was true. That was really true. You can, if you get wisdom and understanding, you can reduce a lot of hard work and effort. But you have to do hard work, but you will reduce a lot of pain and suffering if you have wisdom. That's my point. These were the thoughts of mine on Mike Mentzer. I want to continue video. I don't want to stop here. So most people, the bodybuilders who are training right now, the Mike Mentzer method got famous right now. You doesn't need volume like Arnold and people who do marathon workouts. That's also true. You just need one set, but you have to train smart. You have to use it in a scientific method. Observe, test, and demonstrate, and form a theory, and form a conclusion. Use scientific method. If someone says something, doesn't blindly believe it. Many people in this world are sincere to their religion or their beliefs, but majority of the people are wrong. If you are sincere, that doesn't mean you are right. So always use a scientific method in order to learn. See, most of the science is mixed with poison. Most of the science is not. Science has great principles, many right principles, but most of the science have flaws too, and most of the facts were not true. So keep that in mind. Always search for the truth and work hard whether something you heard, whether it is right or not. You may be listening this from your childhood, from the time you born and raising. You may like things like Mike Mentzer mentioned in one of his journals: conformist, non-conformist, and individual. Conformist who confirm, who, because someone were believing, rest of the world is believing, that's why I will believe that too. That was conformist. Majority of mindset is like the same. The politician they were choosing, the religion they were choosing, because they born and brought up in that certain family. You have to be in that. So that was the conformist mindset. A non-conformist mindset is you have because some majority of believe that I don't believe it. That is a non-conformist mindset. Both of them mostly is not right. And individualist, what he do is test, demonstrate, and learn whether it is right or not. That is individualist mentality. I was born with that mentality from my childhood. I was just telling, I was born with that mentality from my childhood. I was not succeeded in schools and colleges and in sports, but that mentality God gave me gradually manifested when I was growing much more, and I was learning better and better the things. So Mike Mentzer and Arthur Jones high intensity has great principles. Wait a second. They have great principles, but some that theory, if you follow it exactly what he said, in long term, rather getting progress, you will get damage. High intensity is dangerous. Keep that in mind. You have to carefully use the high intensity in order to progress. You never have to train every single day with high intensity, but you have to train every single day. for 6 days in a week, and you have to take rest. And you can, and I suggest the layoff. Sometimes you have to go 1 week layoff, 2 week layoff. That principle is right. After coming from a layoff, you will be strong. But that has to be taken not regularly, but from every 3 months or 6 months. That depends on how much you used your body. I hope you understand, guys. The fat percentage is literally much high. I lost 10 kilos and in 2 months, and I am on a journey to lose another 10 more kilos. But I want to give you an advice. If you want to progress from A to B, from one step to other step, break it into small parts and go one step at a time. Like Brian Tracy said in one of his speeches, success is a journey. When he crossed the Sahara, he used to move one step at a time. He used to go from one oil pump to other. So I want to tell you, right now I'm giving an example. I want to lose 10 kilos. That was a big mountain to me. But if I concentrate on smaller things, smaller steps, like going one step at a time, climbing one step at a time, which means if I concentrate on losing 1 kg at a time, my goal is to right now go from 71 to 70 kilos. That was much easier rather than going from 71 to 61 kilos. So I want to concentrate on first step and then second step gradually. After reaching that will be much easier. So these were the thoughts of mine on the Mike Mentzer. I already experienced it. I already did that Colorado experiment and total conditioning. I used those. I practiced them. Still I was reading many of those journals, athletics journals, or Nautilus Bulletin 1 and Bulletin 2, and Mike Mentzer heavy duty program book. I love them, and I love his principles, but don't do them blindly. Some principles are not right. One set, I confirm the one set principle. Still I was doing one set. I don't do sets and reps. I just do one set. One set is necessary. That was right. Layoff is right. But workout to workout progress, you can't able to progress. But can you able to progress faster? Yes, you can able to progress faster. That was right. But workout to workout progress, progressive overload is not right. It's dangerous. The body won't work in that way. It won't get adapt. So few number of workouts with similar intensity is required in order to progress. So that's it, guys. See you in my next video. This is my not only thoughts. I went through the program. I went through the theory, and I experimented for 2 years, and I learned a lot, and I appreciate their work, Mike Mentzer and Arthur Jones' work. I loved them a lot. Like, they became my friends when I traveled through their program, their theory, and read Bible. And I'm going to give you other tip. God gave green herbs for a medicine that man may bring forth food out of the ground. Psalms 104, I think 4 or 2 or 14. Go and search for it in the Bible. Use King James version. Throw all the rest of the version or put it in the shelf. Use King James version. So God gave green herbs. Eat raw green herbs. If you want to learn something about nutrition, go and read Brendan Fraser's Thrive Vegan Nutrition. I'm a vegan at the same time. I eat non-vegetarian too. Depends on the time. So that was the best book. You will learn a lot from it. That's it, guys. Meet you in my next video.